Hello and welcome back to new number ones for the week of March the 4th, 2026. My name is Corey, and you're here with me now. And the pick of the week is Lands Unknown, The Skinless Man, written and drawn by Ben Stenbeck by Dark Horse Comics and the Curious Objects imprint. To give you some background as to why I chose this comic, I was wanting to get another of the smaller publishers that I've been doing the last few weeks. But the comic store that I go to, the Laughing Ogre, actually was sold out of the ones that were available. And that's not a bad problem to have, because what that means is that people are willing to give these smaller independent publishers an opportunity to impress them and also to support them financially. So it's, again, not a bad issue to have. So I had been waffling on whether or not I wanted to count Dark Horse and Vertigo and Image as eligible for new number ones, but ultimately we decided to go with it. So we're still holding true to no DC or Marvel, even though Vertigo is an imprint of DC. That being said, speaking of imprints, Curious Objects is an imprint that I hold very near and dear to my heart because this is Mike Mignola's imprint through Dark Horse Comics. Mike Mignola, of course, is the creator of Hellboy, the creator of BPRD, and someone I've been a very big fan of for probably the last 20, 30 years. I've been reading comics. So, Lands Unknown, in particular, is a shared universe that Mike Mignola has with Ben Stenbeck. And it is a brand new platform for them to tell tales of folklore and magic and sorcery and dark curses and the occult and the macabre. And it's the bread and butter of Mignola. And Stenbeck has definitely proved his worth with Lands Unknown, the Skinless Man. So before we really dive too far into it, I just want to say, get that out of the way. I'm going to come at you with a level of bias, and then I will try to remove that bias at the end. So, The Skinless Man is a story of this sort of traveling adventurer with his talking wolf and a talking rabbit who find a witch in her home during a snowy night, and she begins to tell them a tale of the Skinless Man, who was a king of a foreign land, who, as the name would suggest, did not have skin on his body. He was just exposed muscle tissue. And he had been searching for a cure for this ailment or solution to the problem. And after a conquest, he finds a baby with golden eyes who has the softest and fairest skin he's ever seen. So he wants it, obviously. He can't find the means to do it, so he goes and he approaches a group of warlocks who send him on a quest to get a thing that should help them transfer the skin to this, from this baby with golden eyes to him, while also expanding the amount of it because he's a full grown man and that's a baby. However, that does prove to be a ruse, and the warlocks have their own plans for it. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about it from the basis of, is this a good number one issue? So again, I've said this before, a good number one should explain the world to you, explain the characters to you, and give you enough meat on the bone that makes you want to continue reading the story. I would say that 2 out of the 3 are accomplished here. I felt so lost jumping into this world. Like I said, Lands Unknown is a shared universe with Mignola and Stenbeck. And from what I understand, some of the other content was a anthology of short stories called Bowling with Corpses that came out in 2025. I don't know who any of these characters are, and it feels like I should. And that's not the worst problem to have. Again, I'm kind of learning about the rules of the world in an organic manner. I'm learning about the magic and the sorcery and how curses and things work. So that's been handled very well. From an art perspective, Stenbeck does an amazing job, as most people that Mignola usually puts his hat in the ring with. Uh, is this a good number one? I would say it's a good number one for a miniseries. If you didn't notice on the cover, this is one of 2, meaning this is a 2-issue miniseries. The problems that I have brought up are likely not going to get addressed in issue 2. But that's how they usually run these worlds. So Mignola has the Mignolaverse. That's where Hellboy exists, BPRD, etc. And you had his big stories that he told for years and years and years. And ever since those stories ended and the world ended, essentially, he's been peppering in new pieces of lore through various miniseries and one-shots for the last probably 10 years now. Lands Unknown feels like it's going to be very much the same way. You're going to get a lot of miniseries, a lot of shorts, a lot of one shots that are going to help expand the world, make it feel bigger and broader. So I will tell you that is this a good new number one for an ongoing series? Probably not. Is it a good new number one for a mini series? Absolutely, especially a two-parter. The point of these tales is to get you acquainted with how this world works, so that when they put out a longer series, you're going to know going in, and it won't be as jarring. So that being said, I would recommend Lands Unknown: The Skinless Man, but I also am telling you I'm coming at you with a level of bias because I just love the Curious Objects imprint. Probably my favorite imprint in comics right now. So with that out of the way, we just had our DC Comics trivia game that we posted yesterday. Dylan and John were great sports on that because I literally just looked for a series of trivia questions online specific to DC Comics and didn't have an opportunity to really vet them. So some of those questions were fucking ridiculous. How many captains have there been? How many misters have there been? It's absurd. I think particularly the question of like how many years ago was the Justice League formed, not knowing what year the list came out. So that's jarring to say the least. I'm sure I will at some point have to do Marvel trivia, and I'll put my chest out there and say I'll be okay at it. There's some worlds of it that I'm not as familiar with, but I'm pretty savvy. Coming up though, we do have the end of our DC and Marvel tournament. This has been like 10 issues, 10 episodes in the making. You have literally watched us go from the idea, and this upcoming week will be the final execution. So as a reminder, it is the Scarlet Witch, Apocalypse, John Constantine, and Parallax, which is an assortment of characters, to say the very least. We definitely had our own way of going about this, and I think it worked as well as it should have, considering. But yeah, we have some more stuff coming down the line. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here for now, though. Again, check out Lands Unknown: The Skinless Man. Check out any mini series or one shot you see from Dark Horse with Lands Unknown in the title, because it looks like Mignola and Stenbeck are building something really special here, and you want to get on the ground floor on that. Until next time, however, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.